That's right. That's what we're dealing with today. It is a miserable day. Oh, my suit's still in the back soaking wet. That's not good. Sitting in the driveway in the office. I got the 2-year-olds left. I think did I do the 3-year-olds? Yeah, I did the 3-year-olds. Got the 2-year-olds left, and then we got all the Burns. I'm going to get right to it. All the 2-year-olds are back in now. All of them. There's nobody left out in the field. Almost there, boss. Harry said, I put the flip-flops on him 3 weeks ago. He's much, much better. When he come back, obviously we had those OCDs taken out of his hind ankles, so there's going to be some discomfort there until he gets back into work, right? And then there was one ankle that bothered him up front. There was nothing mechanically wrong with it, just a little sore. I think with the flip-flops on, he's much better. I would imagine his feet bother him a little bit. These are all things he's going to work through, and it appears he's working through them quite well now. Harry said he's been very, very good this week and last. Amor Diener's back now going at Northfield Park. I haven't got an update in this horse, but he was put out fine and looked great. I think he took a mark of, 57 in a piece, 58, and the day he took that mark, I was parked from start to finish, from pillar to post, as they say, and he was very good. So Amor Diener, looking for a big year from him as a 3-year-old. Arches Rainbow. So I got some splaining to do. We were trying to get this filly to where she was comfortable in a position we could do that tie back really quick. Then we got everything cleaned up, everything done, and then the dates we got to get her in. I think everybody, the vet, myself, everybody involved with this horse kind of dropped the ball a little bit. We should have been looking to nail down a date from day one and work towards that date. Instead, we worked to clean the throat up. Then we asked about getting a date for the filly, and I'm getting scattered reports of first week of January, second week of January. That's too long. It's too long for this filly to be standing. So I think I'm going to ask Harry next week, starting next week, put her on the wheel every day, maybe not on the track where there's pressure on her throat, but she needs to work. She can't stand still until this operation is done. I had a call into 3 clinics. First one says January 4th. Second one said the 15th. Third one also said towards the second week of January, but I'm going to try and squeeze you in. So we're trying to get squeezed in the University of Guelph, and I hope we can. That's my plan anyway, is to get in there and get this done. Until then, I haven't spoke to Harry about it yet, but I'm going to send him a text message when I'm done this video. Start putting that filly on the wheel immediately. She doesn't have to work hard, but she has to move. Better Be Sawyer's been training good. I think she's pretty close right now, I would believe. I know she hasn't gone over to Mohawk yet. I suspect that will be coming very soon. Blue Bayou Dio battling in the field with Garden State Dio. These are 2 tough fillies. One's much bigger than the other one, though. She came in with a little heat in her stifle. I know what happened. Some people might say, well, why'd you turn them out together? Well, these are herd animals, right? And when we turn them out with no shoes on, I'm much more apt to turn them out together. I'm a little more leery to do it when they have hind shoes on and they're in a training setting. But when they're turned out with no shoes on behind, I would much rather turn them out in groups. So Blue Bayou Dio, little heat in her stifle. She's not sore on it to walk, but I don't want to take any chances. So I told Lauren, just poultice it up and give her some anti-inflammatory until there's 0 heat in that stifle. I did have the vet go over and look at her. He really couldn't find anything wrong with her. Took a couple of x-rays just to be safe. Nothing seemed out of sorts with her. So we're just going to proceed cautiously. I suspect by midweek next week, Blue Bayou Deal will start jogging. No big deal, but as I said, thought I'd bring it to you. Bomb Hugger's back in now. I haven't got any reports from Bomb Hugger, but I think no news is good news. What news could there be? She was turned out, looks great. I know she's coming from Wayne and Jacob Schaefer, so I can guarantee you she looks like $1 million. Can't wait to see her when I go to Northfield tomorrow. Well, I won't be. I'll be in Northfield tomorrow. Century Invictus looks good on the track. Yeah, no rush, like I said to Harry and Jason. He has Resolute Bay. Harry has Invictus. There's no rush with any of these horses. Just get them back jogging first and foremost. Confederate Cruiser's jogging now, looking good. Eyes at 10 looks like $1 million. I know Amy. That was the selling point. I said, well, why don't you come over? We'll do some Christmas shopping in Buffalo at that big mall. Then we'll make our way to Northfield Park. We'll race tomorrow night and we'll come back. I know how she thinks. She wants to go see Eyes at 10. She doesn't care about the shopping or the Northfield Park races. She's coming to see Eyes at 10. She thinks I don't know, but I know her very well. So Eyes of 10 looking great. Amy will be happy when she sees her. Garden State Dio, as I said, battling all summer. It's good for them too. It's good for them to toughen up. Garden State Dio battling all summer long with Blue Bayou Dio and Unbeatable Kemp. Unbeatable Kemp. I think they'll both be very, very good when they come back. Both these fillies were put away sharp and looking good. Can't wait to see them at 3. Grace looks great. I saw her in Jason's barn this morning. She looks like $1 million. Granite Hill looks great. As I said, the only question to be answered for Granite Hill, the only question to answer is, how fast are you? And that's really it. Everything else, he looks good. He come back. He looks like $1 million. Hill of Magic, there's not a whole lot to report. She's swimming. She's going to continue to swim until that fracture heals up good, and then we can start jogging her. The reports were that she wouldn't be ready to go until March, April. So there's no real rush. We're in December. We're early to the party, so to speak. Just getting some pre-cardio into our girl, so to speak. Kathy with an eye is training good. As I said, I haven't heard much about Kathy since I was over there and she peed on Daryl. But all reports are she's training pretty good. Massive Profit, Mario's training him. He looks great on the track. He looked very, very good training yesterday. He trained. Matt's MVP, I'm told, looks good. Of Tom looks like $1 million. 1-2 skip a few. All these horses are back in. Now, Matt's MVP is in training, getting closer to the races. Whereas Of Tom, 1-2 skip a few are not. They just came back in. Peanut Butter and Jelly is training. She looks good. I saw her yesterday. Prairie Fire looked awesome schooling. If I looked, I went with him. I can tell you went a mile 59 or 2 minutes and looked very good doing it. Probably qualify him. I'd like to back him up 2-1, 2-2, and then we're off to the races, so to speak, with our boy Prairie Fire. Procrastinator looks good. I suspect they're going to start training him very, very soon. He came in with the first lot. I just didn't want him rushed. I didn't want this guy rushed. I suspect we're going to start training him this week. Purple Aura is back in now. Looks good. Renegade Gypsy looks like $1 million on the track. He looks good. Resolute Bay looks good on the track. I saw all these horses on the track this week. They look great. Rose Above It qualified, as I said. Now, not as fast as I would have hoped, but it was a kind of a crummy day and a slow field. All 2-year-olds, tons of breaks in there. I'm not worried about Rose Above It making a break. He did everything perfectly. Finished off his mile in 2, 3, and 4. I wish he had a blue right by the horse and drove away. So I guess I'm going to give him a C on that, but everything else was A+, as he did his work very, very well. We're going to probably start him in the maiden at Mohawk. We'll see what happens after that. Slim Jimmy, I'm told, put on a ton of weight and looks good. Stonebridge Dolce is back training now. Stonebridge Akati trained very good in the race bike yesterday at the farm. I saw him go. He looked really good. Mario's got him sharp as a tack. Sweet on Pete is back in now. 3-point Blue Chip's not going anywhere. He's actually... So we had a lot of discussion about 3-point Blue Chip. What I would like to see happen is him stay at Blue Chip until January, mid-January. And then we're going to look for a spot maybe on the East Coast for him. I don't really want to send him to Florida. I'm thinking somebody on the East Coast to train this horse down. We had a horse with Andy and Julie Miller last year. I'm also trying to look way ahead and look at who has horses that are in the hunt, right? Who are top trotting horses, top trotting trainers, and who has a horse for that division and who does not. So that's kind of what I'm doing behind the scenes. It doesn't look to me like Julie and Andy have a ton of horses for that 2, which is now going to be 3-year-old colt division. So I'm not leaning in any direction yet, but I'm interested and I'm looking. Taiwan On, I'm told, has put on a ton of weight, which she needed. I can't imagine how good she looks. I assume she looks very good, and I can't wait to see her back in action. Tioga Sunshine came back in yesterday. I'm told she looks good. Twinbee Habanero, that foot's healing up good. He's jogging at Northfield. At some point, he'll probably come back over here. Twinkle in Her Eye looks good. Harry's been going with her on the track. I think she looks like $1 million. Unbeatable Kemp. Amy said he looks like a big fuzzy teddy bear. When he came back in, he's huge now. Very, very big. Filled out very well. So a lot of props to Haley Moore and her husband for taking care of the Blue Bayou Dio, Garden State Dio, and Unbeatable Kemp. They all look like $1 million. And Unbeatable Kemp certainly looks good here at the farm. Voyage of Ice and Fire is getting closer to the races. Will to Win Hanover, James told me, he said this thing trained like a freak the other day. I said, well, James, quietly, she's one of our best horses. That's the reality of the situation. She was injured. She's 100% healed. She looks like $1 million on the track. It's not that shocking. She trained good. He said, no, I was just letting you know. He said, she looks awesome. So James actually, mostly with the babies, but took his time to go down and go with Will to Win Hanover the other day. Said she looked awesome. And World for Two, I see him on the track. He looks great. Very, very good looking horses. Very impressive crew coming back. A lot of high hopes in a lot of places in this barn. Will do in Hanover. Top of the page for me. Really interested to see how she's going to come back. But a number of horses that are interesting also. Those are your 2-year-olds turning 3. Be back in a minute. We just got the barns left.